Welcome back to our channel. Today we're delving into the fascinating story of Susan George, the actress whose role in the controversial 1971 film Straw Dogs propelled her to international fame while placing her at the center of one of cinema's most heated debates. Known for her ability to portray vulnerability and strength with equal finesse, Susan's performance in Straw Dogs was both lauded and criticized, making it a defining moment in her career. From the intense production process to the backlash surrounding the film's most infamous scene, this is the story of an actress who faced extraordinary challenges and emerged with a legacy that continues to spark conversation. Join us as we explore the life, career, and lasting impact of Susan George, and uncover the controversies that made Straw Dogs one of the most talked about films in history. Susan George, born on July 26, 1950, in Surbiton, Surrey, England, displayed an early affinity for performance that set the stage for her remarkable journey in entertainment. Growing up, Susan was drawn to the world of acting, a passion that became evident as she began her career at just 12 years old. Even at this young age, her commitment to her craft was clear, as she dedicated herself to learning and excelling in her chosen field. Her education at the prestigious Corona Theatre School provided her with a solid foundation in acting. Here, Susan honed her skills in performance and gained the confidence to take on increasingly complex roles. The school, known for nurturing talent, was the ideal environment for the young actress to refine her abilities and prepare for the demands of a competitive industry. Susan's talent quickly caught the attention of casting directors, and by her early teens, she was appearing in British television series that showcased her range and versatility. Notable early roles included guest appearances in The Saint, 1964, and Z-Cars, 1965. These roles were more than just stepping stones. They were proof of her ability to bring depth and authenticity to her characters, even in small parts. In The Saint, Susan's performance hinted at her future potential as she seamlessly blended charm with emotional nuance. Meanwhile, her role in Z-Cars displayed her ability to navigate the gritty realism of police dramas, highlighting her adaptability and promise as a young actress. These early projects demonstrated her willingness to take on diverse challenges, earning her recognition as a rising star. For Susan, these formative years were not just about building a resume, they were about laying the groundwork for a career defined by bold choices and compelling performances. Her early successes gave her the confidence to pursue larger roles, while the discipline she developed during this period would later sustain her through the most challenging chapters of her career. Though Susan George's personal relationships don't dominate the narrative of her career, her marriage to actor Simon McCorkindale in the 1980s was a pivotal chapter in her journey. Their union was more than a romantic partnership. It was a professional alliance that allowed Susan to redefine her role within the entertainment industry. Together, Susan and Simon co-founded a production company, marking a significant shift in her career. For an actress who had spent years navigating the complexities of the film and television world, this move represented a step toward creative autonomy. By taking on the role of producer, Susan gained the ability to shape projects from inception to completion, giving her a voice not just in front of the camera, but behind it as well. This transition into producing was both a challenge and an opportunity. It allowed Susan to expand her skill set, taking on responsibilities such as selecting scripts, managing budgets, and overseeing the creative direction of projects. In interviews, she often spoke about how this experience deepened her understanding of the industry, describing it as a natural evolution of her career. The production company became a platform for creating television films and series, some of which achieved considerable success. These projects not only showcased Susan's versatility but also demonstrated her ability to adapt to the changing landscape of the entertainment business. Her work behind the scenes earned her respect from colleagues who admired her commitment to telling compelling stories while maintaining high production standards. For Susan, this chapter of her life was as much about personal growth as it was about professional accomplishment. Working alongside Simon gave her a sense of partnership that extended beyond their marriage as they collaborated to bring their shared creative visions to life. Reflecting on this period, she once said, "It was empowering to have control over the stories we wanted to tell. It felt like I was carving out a new space for myself in an industry that had often tried to define me." Susan George's rise to fame in 1971 was nothing short of cinematic history in the making. Her role as Amy Sumner in Straw Dogs, directed by the legendary yet polarizing Sam Peckinpah, was a defining moment, not just for her career but for the portrayal of women in cinema during that era. While Susan had already turned heads with performances in All Neat and Black Stockings and Twinkie in 1969, Straw Dogs elevated her to a whole new echelon, showcasing her ability to embody intricate layers of emotion from fragility to unyielding strength. Filming Straw Dogs was no ordinary experience. The remote village of St. Buryan in Cornwall, with its haunting quietness, set the stage for a production that was as intense as the story it told. Under Sam Peckinpah's famously demanding direction, actors were pushed to their emotional and physical limits. For Susan George, this meant enduring countless takes of deeply challenging scenes. She later described the experience as exhausting yet empowering, crediting Peckinpah for pushing her to deliver one of the most raw and unforgettable performances of her career. Her portrayal of Amy Sumner was hauntingly real, oscillating between moments of tenderness, fear, and defiance. The reaction to Susan's performance was as intense as the film itself. Critics lauded her for her bravery in taking on such a provocative role, with some calling her performance a revelation of raw talent. Others criticized the controversial nature of the film, but even they couldn't deny Susan's skill in portraying such a complex character. Her performance became a topic of heated debate in both media outlets and households, fueling Straw Dogs' reputation as one of the most talked about films of its time. Fans, too, were mesmerized. Letters poured in, expressing admiration for her courage and emotional authenticity. Many viewers felt her performance gave voice to an unspoken resilience, making Amy Sumner a relatable figure despite the controversy surrounding the film. Social conversations about the role of women in cinema were reignited, and Susan George found herself at the center of a cultural moment that transcended the silver screen. The media went wild. Susan was suddenly everywhere, on magazine covers, in interviews, and on TV. Overnight, she became a household name. Entertainment journalists dubbed her the face of bold cinema, while others hailed her as a symbol of feminine strength in an industry still dominated by male narratives. Her willingness to take risks not only defined her career, but also inspired a generation of actresses to embrace roles that challenged societal norms. Susan George's role in Straw Dogs is remembered not just for its intensity, but also for the cultural earthquake it triggered. The infamous rape scene involving her character Amy Sumner became one of the most hotly debated moments in cinema, stirring both outrage and admiration. The polarizing reactions to the film didn't just center on the scene itself, but extended to Susan's performance and her ability to bring depth to an inherently challenging character. This was not merely acting, it was an emotional marathon that placed her in the spotlight in ways she couldn't have anticipated. When Straw Dogs hit theaters, audiences and critics were stunned by its unapologetic depiction of violence and its moral ambiguity. Feminist groups were particularly vocal, criticizing the scene as degrading and perpetuating harmful stereotypes about women and victimization. Some even staged protests outside theaters, holding signs denouncing the film and its creators. Media outlets jumped into the fray, with headlines such as "Art or Exploitation," dominating entertainment pages and sparking heated debates on television panels. Peckinpah, known for courting controversy, defended the scene as essential to the film's raw and unflinching exploration of human nature. While some critics echoed his sentiments, others lambasted him for crossing ethical boundaries, accusing him of prioritizing shock value over meaningful storytelling. Susan George found herself at the center of this maelstrom, navigating the duality of fame and scrutiny. For her, the role was both a breakthrough and a trial. Fans of her work were divided. Many expressed admiration for her courage, sending letters and flowers as a show of support, while others admitted feeling conflicted about the content but respected her professionalism. One fan wrote, "You brought such humanity to Amy even when the story left her so vulnerable. That takes incredible strength." Internationally, the controversy only escalated. The film faced outright bans in countries like Ireland and heavy censorship in others, including Australia and Sweden. These bans fueled curiosity, turning Straw Dogs into a must-see for cinephiles who wanted to understand what all the uproar was about. The media frenzy surrounding the censorship added an almost mythical aura to Susan's performance, with some journalists dubbing her the face of cinematic rebellion. In interviews, Susan spoke candidly about the emotional toll of filming the scene under Peckinpah's notoriously relentless direction. She described the process as grueling, recounting how she had to perform the scene multiple times to meet his vision. "It was one of the hardest things I've ever done," she later shared. "But I believed in the story and in portraying Amy as honestly as I could." Her honesty about the challenges she faced garnered her even more respect among her peers, with fellow actresses praising her for breaking ground in an era when women were rarely given such complex roles. The controversy surrounding Straw Dogs ultimately helped solidify Susan George's status as a bold and fearless actress. Critics and audiences began to reframe her performance, seeing it not just as a role, but as a statement of resilience. Even decades later, the conversation around Straw Dogs remains a touchstone in film history. In retrospectives and academic analyses, Susan's portrayal of Amy is often cited as a pivotal moment in the evolution of female characters in cinema, one that challenged societal norms and forced viewers to confront uncomfortable truths about power and vulnerability. Media outlets continue to revisit the legacy of Straw Dogs, often highlighting Susan's contribution as one of its strongest elements. Documentaries and film retrospectives have praised her courage, while modern critics applaud her nuanced performance, noting how it transcended the limitations of the script. Fans, too, have kept the conversation alive, with many sharing their reflections on social media, calling her work in the film ahead of its time and a performance that still resonates. When Straw Dogs premiered, it did more than stir conversations. It ignited a cultural firestorm. Few films in cinematic history have provoked such passionate and polarized reactions, with critics, audiences, and cultural commentators weighing in on its raw portrayal of violence and morality. Renowned critic Pauline Kael famously lambasted the film, accusing it of glorifying misogyny and violence. To her, it was a troubling spectacle that crossed the line from provocative to exploitative. On the other hand, a faction of critics lauded director Sam Peckinpah for his unapologetic exploration of human nature's darkest corners. To these defenders, Straw Dogs was an unflinching study of the primal instincts lurking beneath civilized behavior, a stark mirror held up to society. For the public, reactions were equally divided. Walkouts during screenings became common as audiences struggled to process the film's graphic and confrontational content. Protests, particularly by feminist groups, erupted in major cities, with demonstrators decrying the film's depiction of violence against women and its perceived normalization of toxic masculinity. Signs like "misogyny is not art" and "stop exploiting women" could be seen outside theaters, adding to the media frenzy surrounding the film. Meanwhile, curiosity seekers drawn by the controversy helped turn Straw Dogs into a box office sensation in certain regions. The film's ability to polarize audiences made it both a lightning rod for criticism and a must-see cultural phenomenon. For Susan George, the backlash placed her squarely in the media spotlight, but not in the way she might have hoped. Interviews often fixated on the explicit content of Straw Dogs, rather than her nuanced and emotionally charged performance as Amy Sumner. Journalists frequently asked her to defend the film or to explain her decision to take on such a controversial role. This narrow focus on the film's notoriety overshadowed her talent, reducing a career-defining performance to a talking point in debates about the movie's ethics. While the role undoubtedly raised her profile, it came with unintended consequences. In the aftermath of the film's release, Susan found herself at a crossroads. The notoriety of her role made her a household name, but it also cast a long shadow over her career. Some filmmakers, wary of the controversy that followed her, hesitated to cast her in new projects. Hollywood's reluctance to embrace actors associated with contentious films meant Susan had to work harder to prove herself as more than just the actress from Straw Dogs. Despite this, she remained steadfast, often reflecting in interviews on the importance of taking risks and pushing boundaries as an artist. Amid the controversy, Susan's fans rallied behind her. Letters poured in from viewers who admired her courage and authenticity in taking on such a challenging role. "Your performance was unforgettable," one fan wrote, "and you gave Amy a voice that no one else could." Her portrayal of Amy Sumner became a symbol for some, a figure embodying vulnerability and resilience in the face of impossible circumstances. Social media, though non-existent at the time, would have undoubtedly amplified these sentiments, as modern audiences continue to revisit and reinterpret her work in Straw Dogs. The media's treatment of Susan during this period offers a compelling case study in the complexities of fame. While the controversy surrounding Straw Dogs ensured she stayed in the public eye, it also subjected her to an often unfair level of scrutiny. Yet her resilience and grace in navigating this tumultuous chapter of her career only solidified her status as a fearless performer, willing to embrace roles that challenge societal norms and artistic conventions. Susan George's career is a testament to perseverance and reinvention, proving that resilience and adaptability are the keys to longevity in an often unforgiving industry. Despite the intense scrutiny and controversy following Straw Dogs, Susan forged ahead, choosing roles that showcased her depth and range. Her performances in Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry 1974 and Mandingo 1975 highlighted her ability to bring nuance and authenticity to characters in vastly different genres. In Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, she delivered a dynamic and daring performance, embracing the rebellious and carefree spirit of her character, which resonated with audiences and solidified her place in the action drama landscape. Meanwhile, in Mandingo, she tackled the historical drama genre, demonstrating her willingness to engage with complex, sometimes uncomfortable narratives. These roles not only underscored her versatility as an actress, but also cemented her reputation as someone unafraid to take risks. Fans admired her for continuously challenging herself and avoiding typecasting, and their support played a crucial role in keeping her in the public eye. Susan isn't just an actress, she's a storyteller, one fan noted in a retrospective, acknowledging her commitment to bringing depth and relatability to every role she took on. Her journey didn't stop there. Recognizing the importance of creative control in an industry where artists often have little say over their projects, Susan transitioned into producing. Alongside her husband, Simon McCorkindale, she co-founded a production company, marking a bold new chapter in her career. This venture allowed her to explore the behind-the-scenes aspects of filmmaking, from selecting scripts to shaping stories. It also empowered her to work on projects that aligned with her vision and values. This move was seen as a savvy and forward-thinking step, earning her respect not only as an actress, but also as a businesswoman in a male-dominated industry. Meanwhile, the legacy of Straw Dogs evolved dramatically over the years. What was once dismissed by many as an overly controversial film has since been re-examined through a more nuanced lens. Today it is studied as a thought-provoking commentary on violence, masculinity, and societal power dynamics. Scholars have applied theories from feminism to psychoanalysis to dissect its themes, uncovering layers of meaning that were perhaps not immediately apparent at the time of its release. Susan's performance, initially overshadowed by the film's contentious reputation, has been one of the most significant beneficiaries of this reappraisal. Modern critics now recognize the emotional complexity she brought to Amy Sumner, portraying a character caught between vulnerability and defiance in a deeply patriarchal context. Her portrayal is the beating heart of Straw Dogs, one scholar remarked, noting that Susan managed to bring humanity and subtlety to a role that could have easily been reduced to a narrative device. The renewed appreciation of her work has sparked conversations among contemporary audiences, many of whom see parallels between the themes of the film and current societal issues. On social media and in forums dedicated to classic cinema, fans often discuss how Susan's work in Straw Dogs transcends its era, making it a performance that still feels relevant. She was ahead of her time, one viewer commented. Her work challenged the norms of the industry and forced us to think about the stories we tell and how we tell them. Susan George remains an enduring figure in the entertainment world, actively continuing her work as an actress and producer. Her career, spanning decades, stands as a testament to resilience, passion, and the ability to evolve within an ever-changing industry. While she has taken on numerous roles and projects, Susan's journey will always be tied to her role in Straw Dogs. It made her a global star and changed how people talked about movies and society. Amy Sumner in Straw Dogs is still Susan George's most iconic role. It was emotionally intense and made her the focus of major controversy. At just 21, Susan was thrust into a global spotlight, navigating intense public scrutiny and polarized reactions. Critics debated the ethics and implications of her character's portrayal, but what stood out to many was Susan's ability to convey vulnerability, fear, and quiet resilience in a performance that felt achingly real. Her work was both praised and challenged, but it was undeniably unforgettable. Over the years, Susan has embraced the complexities of her legacy. In interviews, she has spoken candidly about the challenges she faced during and after Straw Dogs, the emotional toll of filming, the intense media attention, and the lasting impact on her career. Rather than allowing the controversy to overshadow her achievements, she has used it as a foundation to build a career marked by bold choices and artistic exploration. This honesty has endeared her to fans and solidified her reputation as an actress who isn't afraid to take risks. As a producer, Susan has taken her storytelling abilities to new heights, co-founding a production company that reflects her passion for meaningful narratives. This shift behind the scenes allowed her to craft stories on her own terms, empowering her to bring fresh perspectives to the screen. Her dual roles as both an actress and a producer highlight her versatility and dedication to the art of filmmaking. What makes Susan George's journey so compelling is the way it resonates with audiences even today. Fans often comment on how her career inspires them to embrace challenges and forge ahead with determination. Social media platforms are filled with tributes from viewers, many of whom credit Susan with redefining what it means to be a fearless performer. One admirer shared, "Her performance in Straw Dogs wasn't just acting, it was a revelation. She made us feel every emotion, every struggle." Meanwhile, Straw Dogs has undergone significant reappraisal, evolving from a controversial film into a cinematic touchstone. Modern critics and scholars analyze it for its themes of violence, gender dynamics, and societal breakdown, often highlighting Susan's performance as the emotional core of the story. Her portrayal of Amy Sumner is now recognized as groundbreaking, praised for its complexity and authenticity. Film retrospectives frequently cite her work as a defining moment in 1970s cinema, a performance that challenged conventions and left a lasting mark. Through it all, Susan George has remained grounded and reflective, appreciating the opportunities and challenges that have shaped her career. Her story isn't just about one iconic role. It's about growth, reinvention, and the enduring impact of fearless artistry. Susan George's journey through the highs and lows of her career, marked by her unforgettable role in Straw Dogs, showcases the complexities of being an actress unafraid to take risks. Her courage in tackling controversial material, her resilience in the face of public scrutiny, and her determination to redefine herself as a producer are testaments to her versatility and strength. Straw Dogs remains a film that challenges, provokes, and sparks debate, and Susan's performance lies at its heart. What are your thoughts on Susan George's role in Straw Dogs? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories behind the legends of film history.